Rutgers men's basketball. Game's not even over yet, and I'm doing this. I'm not going to waste a ton of time with this type of performance. Obviously, this team broke me after Iowa. I thought that was just the second half performance with everything for them to fight their way back and to give that performance in the second half was a terrible sign moving forward. And I did honestly not have much hope at Oregon this Sunday night, and they currently trail 71-55 with a minute 36 to go. It was 46-44 with about 15 minutes to play. Oregon putting together a 23-6 run over the next 10, 11 minutes, and that has all she wrote. Just terrible defensive performance tonight. Oregon currently 13 of 22 from three-point range, 7 of 12 in the second half. Just so many wide open looks. The athleticism of Oregon, obviously was a concern coming in. They're very deep. They've underperformed of late. They had a 5-game losing streak in Big Ten play, but they started really strong this season, and they're starting to round back into form. And honestly, that's what a lot of teams do against Rutgers now. They round back into form, and it's extremely frustrating. Rutgers now down 73-55 with 45 seconds to go. This is now very concerning in the sense of, are they even going to make the Big Ten tournament? They're half a game up, or one game in the win column. They're at Washington on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. It might be Thursday. I apologize. I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to go watch the SNL 50 special with my wife and enjoy my night, because this team has just honestly done what I didn't think could happen, and that's taken my will out of the belief in this team. And it's pretty upsetting overall tonight. I mean, Somerville is making strides. Jay Young obviously really sinking his teeth in the Somerville, going against his former player, Supreme Cook, who did not have a great night tonight, just 3 points, 3 rebounds. And Somerville now just hit 2 free throws back-to-back, 14 points. Only 3 boards, but 6 of 8 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. He's a very efficient offensive player. Rem defense, not good or consistent enough. Rebounding, not good or consistent enough. But he has been, I'd have to go back and look, but I mean, you could argue he's been the most consistent offensive player Rutgers has had. Not the ceiling, but certainly his floor has been pretty high in most games this year. But the fact that overall, let's see. Harper, looked a step slow tonight. Just 5 of 14 from the floor, 2 of 8 from 3. Too many threes for him, and not as effective getting to the rim as he was at the start of the year. And then Ace Bailey really struggling. TJ Bamba, great defense on him. Ace Bailey just 4 of 13 from the floor, 8 points. Overall, just 2 rebounds, 0-4 from 3. An unspirited performance from him, and Rutgers now officially losing 75-57, an 18-point loss. That is a terrible sign. And now you're at the point, I almost did a podcast on Friday talking about this. I have a lot to say about Steve Peichel, about this team, about the season. I have a lot. Okay? Everyone wants me to just throw it all out there after a loss. A rapid reaction. We're digesting the game. I have a lot to talk about this team and why things have gone wrong. And I will start to lace those in. But a lot of what I'm going to say is when this season's officially over. But I will say, now moving forward, Steve Peichel, Rutgers didn't score a field goal last 2:49. Has he lost his team? Is this team just going to lay down now and lose out and not even make the Big Ten tournament? Because if they do, that's really going to be I know people are going to say it doesn't matter. It's over, right? It's been over. They're not making the NCAA tournament. But any hope I had after Iowa was pretty much taken. But if they don't make the NCAA, the Big Ten tournament, then, it's worst case failure. And if they lose out, it's worst case failure. And then this thing is at a different level, in my opinion. Harper and Bailey, they have not looked great the last 2 games. And mentally, where are they? Mentally, where's the rest of this team? The rotations they're a mess. He's playing everyone's playing. This isn't rec ball. There should be a tight 8-man rotation at this point. Acuff has given you a lot in recent weeks, and now he's playing 5 minutes tonight. Didn't score. Martini gave him 15 minutes, got him a 3 ball, 1 of 3, 3 rebounds. His defense is still not there. But Acuff, Dortch, and Hayes, 5, 6, and 7 minutes. You got 2 points production. I mean, you're just taking everyone out of the flow. Durkak played 7 minutes. It's just bizarre. The rotations are they don't really make sense. I think Peichel, I don't know if he's out of answers and just trying anything against the wall. I mean, I thought there's been games this year he's made some really tight decisions, and then there's been a lot of games he hasn't. And I talked about coming into the year that this is going to be the hardest year of his career, and there's going to be a lot of game-to-game decision-making for him that's going to have to hit. And, it hasn't. It hasn't. And, I know everybody, I mean, I have someone on Twitter, he's been a long time troll, but, wanting a pound of flesh, theoretically, et cetera, because why was I so positive on this team? I mean, a lot has gone wrong, but I also said more than once, you go back, find the tape, that this could go terribly wrong, and that they'd have to find the right rhythm, they'd have to push the right buttons. And Peichel hasn't. Bottom line, it's not rocket science. So I'm going to go a lot more into detail on what I think has gone wrong, mistakes he's made, and more importantly, what the future looks like and what he needs to change, because a lot of changes have to happen. And this kind of loss after Iowa, if you had any hope other than, the one person that likes to post on social media after bad losses and, rip everybody for being emotional or negative, rightfully so, and talk about, win or lose, rah, rah. I mean, listen, I've been a Rutgers fan 40 years. I will always be a Rutgers fan. I love this program. This is unacceptable. And if you accept this, then you don't know what you're talking about. These last 2 games, going into Iowa, I was still in my mind piecing together how close this season was from being in a completely different narrative than it has. But these last 2 games have cemented the fact that this team is not a good team, and there's water in the boat. The wheels have come off, and I don't know if they're going to recover. I'll be honest. I just don't. This is a really 2 back-to-back disheartening, unspirited performances. They scored 57 points. I mean, they shot 46.2% from the field. The big difference tonight, Oregon 13 of 22 from 3, 59%. Rutgers 4 of 19 for 21. I mean, 2-point range. Rutgers was 20 of 31. I mean, that's really good. They dominated points in the paint too. They were just 32-26. Oregon ended up coming back there, but they had 13 turnovers. They were -6 on the boards, -6 on offensive rebounds. They did have a 6-5 advantage in second chance points, but they were -7 in fast break points. And they just they turned Oregon over early, and then they couldn't do it really the last 30 minutes of the game. Just 9 turnovers for Oregon. But Rutgers, I mean, listen, at the rim, just 6 of 15, 3 of 5 on dunks. But mid-range, they were really good tonight. But points per possession, under 1 point per game. And just, a really disappointing performance. Defensively, no rim defense, no 3-point defense, no intensity at all. Offensively, just no cohesion. This is a bad basketball team. They're getting worse. And you're playing Washington now next. And if you lose that game, then I think it's hard to think that anything positive is going to happen. I mean, I have a hard time right now. But if you lose to Washington, it's on Wednesday. I'm just looking it up. It is Wednesday, and that game is at 10:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. That would be a fun one to stay up for. We'll see. But anyway, Rutgers losing. The wheels are off. The water's in the boat. Steve Peichel is in danger of having lost his locker room now. This team showing very little fight, very little intensity. And as a fan, however long you've been in this team, it's fair to be disgusted with these last 2 performances and not have any hope left for this season. Now, Steve Peichel, no matter how bad this season gets, I fully believe he deserves next season, but a lot of things have to change for this thing to turn around. And it's very concerning, and just a dispirited loss. The fact that they were in the game, they were fighting hard. 5 minutes into the second half, and the wheels just came off. Bad decisions, and just piss poor defense. And to see Steve Pikiel's team self-destruct like this with defense at the core is particularly hard to swallow. So Rutgers falling now 12-14. I believe they're the only team in the Big Ten with an overall losing record. In terms of the conference, they sit just above Penn State with 3 wins. Northwestern and Washington have 4 wins. Rutgers, Minnesota, Iowa have 5 wins. So you beat Washington, you're up to 6 wins. You're pretty much out of the woods and are going to make the Big Ten tournament. But if you lose that game, free-for-all is in full force. Thanks so much. Enjoy your holiday weekend. I'm going to have plenty to talk about hoops very soon. I've been very busy. And also, when you don't have a clear head, and there's also the respect of this team during the season, there's certain things that aren't ready to be said, in my opinion. I want to talk about football soon. I want to talk about the mess with no AD and no president and why that has to get resolved right away. The legacy of Pat Hobbs, how that's hurting everything, and really the black cloud over this whole school year and has never gone away. So I have a lot to talk about. I know people get mad when I'm not pumping them out like I used to, but I have a lot more to say coming up. Thanks so much for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful podcast.